Welcome to the prop market. I'm your host, the Prop King, and good evening. Today I'll be going over my week 4 college football prop picks. I have really some really good picks for you guys this week. I'm excited to share with you guys. Everyone that's been liking and subscribing to videos, I appreciate it. I had recently said I had a goal of getting 100 subscribers by the end of this month. We're working towards it. If you enjoy the videos, please spread the word, and by you liking them and viewing them, of course, it gets it more notice. I'm gonna try to do a better job of also promoting this show so more people can actually watch it and get more out of it because, like I've said before, this is an informational video. Keep what you want and like what you don't. Not saying you have to take all my picks, not saying all my picks are 100% correct and right, but I do a lot of research. I do put a lot of time into these picks, and so I really do appreciate subscribers, and I really do appreciate the views and the likes. Eventually, I would like to turn a profit on this eventually, other than just me winning. But for now, I'm satisfied just winning my picks, doing these videos, and trying to help as many people as I can. So with all that being said, like I said, I love the slate for this week. I feel like there's a lot of discrepancies. The research is starting to be more agitated, more advantages for us because I get to actually look at the numbers and see against other teams, and you'll see some of my rationale when I say that these numbers and these research is starting to increase. And I'm gonna go ahead and go over how I did last week. If you followed me last week, you were extremely prosperous. As you see, we went 90% last week, which was great, 9 for 10. So far in this college football season, we're 27 for 12 at 69%. Um, I mean, I love winning. 70% would be crazy for prop picks, and we're almost there. Our goal is to go 9 for 10 or 10 for 10 every week, but we all know, variation, that's not a for sure thing. But I like to keep the same process going just so we can kind of give ourselves the best chance to win. As you see at the bottom, year to date, 74 for 107 for 69%. And that's all sports. Looking at last week, these are just some of my picks. I went over it in my recap show. You want to go back and look at that, I'll talk about a little bit more. Now for my first pick, a guy that, I've been watching and I watched last week. He passed the eye test. The Purdue offense passed the eye test. And I noticed one thing that I love most about Purdue in this number is that they struggle to throw the football. I mean, to run the football. They can't run the football at all. And they're going against Wisconsin, who does a great job at stopping the run. Now, this is not your old school Wisconsin. They like to throw the football a lot more. They're not pounding it 100 times a game. So look for a more up-paced game, a higher scoring game. I think Purdue wins when it comes to wide receivers. They have a better wide receiving core than Wisconsin's secondary. And Hudson Card has talent and experience, two things we love. And he also has a lot of motivation to kind of come up from last week's game, a game that I feel they should have won. So with all that being said, I like his over 258 passing yards for Hudson Card. See, I have 3 pop emojis. I'm pretty confident in this pick. My next guy is Jalen Milroe, back in the starting spot for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I feel like he has a bunch of confidence, more confidence than he ever had, mainly because he knows he's the guy now. Not only that, he came in and he had to share reps last year. He was just taking over Bryce Young. They let the other 2 quarterbacks play last week, and it was horrible. It wasn't a good thing. I think they're going to let him free and let him run and let him be the athlete that he is. Ole Miss will put up points, so that'll force Alabama to continue to score with them. Like I said, I think he has a bunch of confidence. He throws a really nice deep ball. That's one thing he does do really well. I see him doing that. If you look at my projected passing yards, I have him at 234. He's averaging 224. I think he's going to run the ball a lot. And so with that being said, I got his over 257.5 passing rushing yards because I feel like he's going to be running and throwing. but a lot of running. There's no telling how many rushing yards he might get. And I don't know. I think he's going to pass pretty well too. His passing yards at 208 is what I initially saw that it has actually went up. So people actually believe he'll throw the ball as well. Next guy is Spencer Rattler. This is a guy I've been kind of picking all year, and I'm staying with it. He's been undefeated for me. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You'll see that with some of the picks that I have. His number has risen quite a bit. That's why you just see one king emoji. Play this one soft, but I don't want to leave it on a heater. This dude is so hot. Um, Mississippi State has a bad defense. And I think this is a chance for Spencer Rattler to kind of open it up and just kind of really show everything he can do. And he's been playing against some really good defenses. I think this is a letdown spot in for him. His average passing yards is at 318 against really good competition, and his projected passing is at 368. The number they have him at is way lower than that. So I'm loving this number. I'm loving the projections that we have. And South Carolina's defense is not great. So I feel like, Rodgers on the other side will keep it close. I love his over 272 passing yards. Jaden Daniels is the next pick I have. Jaden Daniels showed me a lot last week. I was watching him, saw him in, with my eyes all on him. He has the best wide receiving core in football, if you ask me, with Neighbors and Thomas. Arkansas has a bad defense, probably the worst defense versus the pass in the SEC. Motivation to put up a good performance here is big for LSU. I can see them, really pushing this score up and not kind of letting go. Daniels has just gotten better and better at throwing the football, and a lot of his receivers get a lot of yards after the catch. I really think this is going to be, I have him projected at 350. He's at 325 passing yards. So with his over being at 273 passing yards, it's well over his average. I love this number right here. Sam Hartman is the next guy I'm going with. Sam Hartman has been steady. He's been a steady guy. His average passing yards is at 265. I got him projected at almost 315. I think this will be a game where he's going to have to throw the football on this Ohio State defense. I think they know that Notre Dame is a run first team. That's why his number's so low. They're run first. With that being said, Ohio State has said, one of the coaches has said their number one goal is to stop the run. So they don't want Estime to get loose. So they're going to put the ball in the hands of Hartman. And we've seen him, he's got a good track record of throwing the football. In Notre Dame, he hasn't had to do too much, but I think this game will be a game where he kind of lets loose and lets that ball spin a little bit. I don't see any way he doesn't go over his 250 passing yards. I see it being a close game. Notre Dame might even be losing, which will work in our favor. So he'll have to throw to kind of come back in this game. Next guy is Old Faithful. He's been a cash machine. Michael Penix, if you've been following me, man, look at his average passing yards is ridiculous. His passing yards is ridiculous. I got projected lower than his passing yards. So I can't just imagine him continuing this. He cashed for us last week in one half. I don't see anyone stopping this offense. I don't see anyone even challenging this offense. Cal has a bad defense. I don't know how long he's going to be in the game, but he should be long enough to get 356 yards. I think everybody's keeping an eye on what Shedeur Sanders is doing, and guys are kind of wanting to compete with that and stay in that Heisman Trophy thought process. So with that being said, he has to play. I think they're going to kind of run the score up on Cal. I got it over 356 passing yards, and I've mentioned this before. He's got a really aggressive coach, so I don't see no way he doesn't get over this. Next guy has three prop emojis. It'll be Jalen Daniels from Kansas. He's a guy I liked a lot in the beginning of the season. He's averaging 288. I got him projected for his pass and rush yards at 308. If you kind of look at this number, I love this number so much for a couple reasons. BYU has played well versus Arkansas, but you know, our Jefferson, the guy that I probably don't want to pick anymore, just even though his number's low, and I almost did. I sprinkled a little bit on him. I will tell you, I did sprinkle a little bit on KJ Jefferson because his number was low at the beginning. But but even with his slow release, I didn't see him really getting a lot of pressure against BYU. Daniels is a true threat, and I think Kansas he's wore off the rust, and he's going to get let loose this week. In both games, he cleared the pass rush number that I have in just passing. So he's passed for more yards in the pass and rush number. So that being said, I love his over 267 pass and rush yards. Like I said, he cleared this number just off passing. Look at his average passing is more than the pass and rush yards. I know BYU has a good defense, but there's no way he's not going over 268 yards combined. Caleb Williams is a guy who I loved at the beginning of the year, and people are forgetting about him. So my number one reason for picking this is motivation. Everybody's talking about Shedeur Sanders. Everybody's talking about Colorado. No one's thinking about Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is defending Heisman Trophy winner, and some of the reason no one's talking about him is because he only plays half a game. So these numbers that you see, it's a lot of it's just half a game. I got him projected at 315 yards, passing yards. I see him going over this 300. I do. He's going to play a little bit longer versus Arizona State. Maybe they'll score enough to keep him in the game. But even if they don't, I see them definitely continuing to feed him, let him feed and throw the ball because he's got to get back in this Heisman Trophy race. He's got to get back to people talking about him. I got him over 300.5 passing yards. And if he plays into the fourth quarter, he clears this easily. Next guy I have is DJ Ugalele. DJ's a man, he's been around the block. He's not a new guy. He's played a lot of football. He's got talent plus experience, two things that we love here at the prop market. And he's going against a Washington State team that can score. Cam Ward will put points up on the board and he won't stop. And so he hasn't passed a lot this year, but the one game that he did pass for 30 attempts, he ended up with 284 yards versus San Diego State. So when he's given the opportunity, he does throw the ball a lot. He has good receivers that I see him, having to throw the football. I see them if Washington State is smart, they're going to try to stop the run. That's what Oregon State wants to do. I don't think they're going to allow them to do it. I believe this game's going to be back and forth. I love his over here. His over actually has went up. I ended up getting it at 212. It's up to 220, but as you see, I'd keep going all the way up to like maybe 250. But yeah, his number's pretty low, and I think it's because of his average passing yards is low. But then again, he hasn't had many opportunities. I think he'll bounce back this week and have a great passing game. My last pick for this slate is Quinn Ewers. Quinn had a bad game last game, wasn't very consistent. The offense didn't look great. I think it was a let-down game. I think they're going to be right back on it as they get into conference play. A lot of motivation here. His number was at 274. It bumped down 10 in the last probably hour or so. His average passing yards at 246. I got him projected at 284. I don't love going over average passing yards as a pick, but in this case, I watched TJ Finley from Texas State just tear up Baylor. Yeah, he had 298 passing yards. And they ran a lot at the end to conserve the lead. And I also watched Quinn Ewers throw for 349 yards versus Alabama. I don't see no reason why he doesn't go back to that guy again. Plus the 10-yard discount. I love Quinn Ewers over 275 passing yards. Here's a quick little recap for you. I got Card over 258, Milrow over 257, Rattler over 272, Daniels over 273 from LSU, Hartman over 250, Penix over 356, Daniels from Kansas over 267 passing rush, Williams over 300, Ugalele over 212, and Ewers over 264. If you love the video, if you like the video, go ahead and subscribe. go ahead and like it. Go ahead and love it. And please give me your comments at the end. Like I said, I want to continue to do these videos, and we need subscribers to continue to do these things so that, we'll be able to get everything we need out of this situation. I want to give as many people information as possible. Remember, this is informational, so take what you want, leave what you don't. Let's have a bull market this week.